As we all know, Joe Rogan famously moved to Austin. He brought many of his comedian buddies along with him, and apparently many of those same comedians are unhappy with Austin and they are leaving.
Yes. Okay, so this is something that kind of gave me something to chew on, because living in Los Angeles, you know, you and I have both experienced what has happened in LA, and so I have been thinking, like, if I'm so unhappy here, maybe I should move. But maybe the grass is greener, isn't so green on the other side.
It's much greener.
Right. Okay.
No.
Okay. So we're gonna weigh in on that.
So much greener.
So basically, you have all these comedians who relocated from big cities like Los Angeles and New York City to basically follow Joe Rogan to Austin, Texas, where he has the mothership. You know, he's trying to build a comedy community there, and it seems like in the beginning it was very successful. However, some of these comedians have now begun complaining publicly about all of this because they don't like some of the things in Austin, including homelessness, weather, and apparently they have issues with the power grid. So, so let's actually start with one of the comedians who did move to Austin, is still there, but doesn't seem to like it, and it's Shane Gillis.
I love this dude.
I love Shane.
Yeah.
There was a storm in Texas, and I have no power.
Okay.
And I have to be gone. I've been on the road for like a week, and I was going
power grid like fucking idiots. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And I was gonna do laundry before I left for this trip.
Right.
But everything, I have no power for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Texas fucking blows. Dude, the second we ran
Shane, come on.
The second we ran out of power, the house was 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And just bugs.
And it's June. And that will go out in August.
Bugs came in immediately. The house filled with bugs.
All right, so that was Shane Gillis, but Tim Dillon, another comedian who moved to Austin, actually decided to move back to Los Angeles. That's how unhappy he was in Austin. Here's why.
You know, everyone there was like, this is the next city.
Right.
And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. The lake is the color of sewage.
Oh, okay.
It's a deep green sewage lake. There are homeless people. This idea that there's no homeless people there
They're there.
is a lie. They're homeless. People there. And by the way, it's like, you know, so it's like this idea that, listen, LA has problems. We all know that it has problems. But, you know, there's shootings there. There's lots of shootings. So it's not
Everyone
like...
is armed, right?
Yeah, but it's also like people get drunk. They shoot each other. It's part of the culture. It's fun.
Right.
It's fun.
Look at her face. Oh my gosh.
He also complained about the food. This is like hilarious. He was complaining about the food in Austin and says the food in LA is much better. He says there's only one sushi restaurant in Austin. I don't know if that's true. That's what he says.
There's two.
There's no produce. He says there's no produce.
There's Uchi, which is great, and there's the same guys that do Scratch in Los Angeles. There's at least two that are good that I know of. Because I looked at Austin to move, and I have reasons that I didn't choose Austin, and we can get into that later. But
yeah, and then he makes jokes. He's like, they put brisket in the water, you know. He wasn't happy with the scene there. So he moved back to LA. And you know what? Sometimes you kind of need to take that journey to realize what you moved away from, what you lost. In fact, like, when I think of LA, I think of its natural beauty. And I don't know if I could live anywhere else, because I love the fact that you have the mountains, and if you want snow, you just travel a little bit, few hours, and you're in Big Bear, and you can enjoy the snow. I hate the snow, but you know, for people who like the snow, it's there. The beaches, like, it's naturally beautiful. It's just governed so poorly.
Isn't it so ironic that everything beautiful about California is God-made, and everything that's shitty is man-made, Gavin Newsom made?
Wow. That's a very astute observation.
And city council
Lindy.
made. Our city council is a complete and utter disaster. So like, I don't want to abandon my city. I want to fight to make it better. But I will admit, it's hard because you see your quality of life dwindle year after year while you pay more and more in taxes. LA is a high tax place, obviously, and the highest tax state in the country. And when you see like your services get cut because the city and the state misuses funds and just squanders it, it's infuriating, absolutely.
On that note, actually, Blair White, who has been on this show before, I love Blair, incredible political commentator, very sharp. So she actually moved from California to Austin, and she's been out there the last couple of years. She's very tied into this, she likes it. She's been out there a couple of years. She's very tied into this Austin community, but she's moving back to LA too. But for what you just said, she's like, I want to fix it. I want to fix California. I love it. And I do believe it can be fixed. And I think it takes more people like her, like you, of that mindset.
When
because
do
if everyone...
I get to talk on this
Sorry,
one?
sorry.
I want you to go. Just
Well,
get
you're
it out.
actually moving.
I moved.
My point
so
is made.
tell me when
Go.
you're ready. Okay, I
Go.
left in 2021. So far, 2 of the homes that I owned in Malibu have burned. The one I sold in 2021 just burned. Fortunately, thank God, I sold that one, so I didn't have to go through it again. I owned the one, obviously, at the time that burned in 2018. I lived through all the bureaucracy and all the red tape, and it's so awful that you end up tapping out. It's a system that is designed to break you. It weaponizes red tape on purpose.
Yep.
And I truly now at this point believe, based on everything I've seen, it's intentional and it's a land grab. Just the fact that Gavin Newsom is putting in low-income housing, well, who does that benefit? The prospectors, the BlackRocks of the world. And I thought it was all tin hat until he's actually doing it. Now, living with that and all of that insanity, then living with the crime. And even though we got rid of Proposition 47, which is the one that overturned, it was 36.
Right. Well, the state refuses to fund the proposition that just passed that reverses some of the damage from the earlier proposition.
Right,
so
it was like 36 and then 47, or it might be reversed. Or something like
47 was the initial proposition.
Okay.
36 was to reverse some of those reforms that actually ended up being really, really bad for the city. The state, I should say. But anyway, long story short, Gavin Newsom was never in favor of that proposition.
No,
he refuses to fund it.
He opposed it. So you've got rampant crime, and I mean, my car was just stolen there last year when I went to visit my mom.
Oh, wow.
We literally were moving the car from Miami to Jackson, which is so we now domicile in Jackson because it's closer to LA because my mom is still in LA. And there are still things for work that I have to go back from time to time. So it was impossible to keep doing this cross-country commute, so on and so forth. Nevertheless, the taxes are insane. The school system sucks. And I mean, it absolutely sucks. The infrastructure is broken.
Yep.
The policies are bananas. And what I mean by that is I have friends that are buying killer dogs. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Because there's another proposition that's just put forward, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's about standing your ground, and they might take away your right to defend yourself.
That's ridiculous.
It's
that's
just
ridiculous.
It's banana. It is. The policies are bananas. And what I can tell you is I did go to Austin. And I'm an ocean baby. I like the water. And the lake was gross. It was gross. And I'm not trying to make this a red or blue thing, but to a large extent, there is a policy problem with regard to these blue cities. Austin's blue.
Yes,
it is.
Miami's
very blue.
not.
Yeah.
Wyoming is not. So you're going from blue to blue, and that's why you're getting the crime, the homelessness, the mess, the disaster, and it was all very evident and on display. And I looked at my wife and I was like, we're not doing Austin.
Yeah.
And we did Miami, and I loved it. And I miss it so, so, so much, and the goal is down the road, if I should be so fortunate, to keep Jackson and then escape the Game of Thrones winters, and get a little condo on the beach during those times, and then go back home to Jackson. But the point being, getting back to your desire to fix it, I don't think that's possible. I don't.
I think it is.
You won't even run for office. So how dare you? No. How?
Jillian.
No, I asked you specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're like, I don't want to deal with it. But then you say you're going to stay and fight for it. So I'm telling you,
well,
then
you
run
can fight
for office.
well, because
I'm not fucking fighting for
there's
it.
no
I'm
way
out.
in hell I
Forgive
would
the
ever
F-bomb.
win if I ran for anything, even if it was a city council member. It's just, I'm too controversial in my bold opinions on various issues. So I just don't want to deal. I could deal with it if it only impacted me, but it's going to impact my family.
Which is why Corolla won't run, which is why all the good people won't run. So let's get back to, not only is it an exceptional uphill battle, good people don't want to take it on. So until you're willing to run for office, don't tell me you're staying in California to save it. I'll vote for you if I'll go back to California for a year.
You can make a difference without running for office.
No, you can't. No, you cannot.
The most powerful way is through Congress, no doubt. However, you can still just by using your voice.
I would wager,
to the point that you cannot even. There are Republicans there, and it is so gerrymandered that they have zero representation, and it's getting exponentially worse. Thanks, Kevin.
Let me
I'm not saying
present
both sides don't do that, but I'm saying there's no hope there. There's not.
Wait, you're saying that unless you're in office, you can't make a difference?
I'm saying that. You're telling me you want to stand fight for it.
Yeah.
But what it takes to fight for is an exceptional sacrifice. And people, I know,
Well,
I get it.
What I'm saying is, right now, and I mentioned this before, we don't just have We don't have 435.
How are you going to fight for it? How are you going to stop crime? How are you going to undo all of this disgusting policy and legislation? How are you going to do it? How are you going to implement fire mitigation if you're not in office?
What I'm saying is, right now, we don't have 435 members of Congress. We have 435 social media wannabes. They're influencers. They spend all their time trying to get on Fox News or MSNBC, depending on what party they're not doing anything useful. In fact, the good ones are all retiring because they realize they can't make a difference. So what I'm saying is you don't have to, you can agitate from the sidelines.
Doesn't work.
I
mean,
would say
does not work.
activists do it all the time.
The more we agitate, the more powerful Newsom is
could I give an
becoming.
But the reason why we
It
have
does
these,
not work.
The reason why we have these disastrous policies is because the people who've gotten real active are like, you know, these activist groups. They show up to every city council meeting, they protest, they cause a ruckus, and the squeaky wheel gets
the grease.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the people who control the Republican Party right now are not the politicians.
That's
They are
so
the
true.
They
Yeah,
are the
that's so
funders.
true.
They are the Miriam Adelsons, the Peter Thiels of the world. They are the oligarchs.
How are
they
you
are
going to
bosses.
undo that?
Let me
We
give
need
you
to
an
move
example. Let
on,
me give you an
but
example.
What I
Before we
mean
move
is,
on,
they're
telling
not
you,
how
get out
Wait,
while
let
you
me
can
just be
get
clear,
out.
though, guys. They are not the lawmakers here. They are the power behind them. They are the BlackRocks of the world. That's where the power lies, not necessarily
And
the
they're
politicians.
taking back the
politicians
largest
are the
economy,
puppets.
supposedly.
So
That's what they're
honestly,
doing.
if we want to address your point, we should become the puppet masters because that is how we actually
You know how you do
fundamentally
that? You
change
have
society.
to be a sociopath. There's actually a great TED Talk on this. And, you know, we were talking about this with Kaizen last week's show. And he's like, you know, let's not hate this. Everybody has the potential for evil, and we do. However, you could take this TED Talk or you could leave it, and we're going to move on after this. But it's like the kind of person that wants that exceptional, excessive, insane amount of power and control is a sociopath.
Right, and I'm not
Not a
raising
governor, but to literally be a globalist that controls the world.
In fact, someone did a study on politicians. They are mentally ill, just to be clear, especially the people who run for president.
Oh, I know,
the good
girl.
ones will
I know,
do it.
girl.
The good ones will.
Well, I would actually say.
forgot.
Well, I mean, I think there's also beauty in mental disorders. Well, that's
This
a
is different,
conversation
though.
for another-
There's beauty and not this.
Can I just give one example before we move
Yes,
on?
yes.
For some people who are actually doing stuff and making a difference. Have you all heard of Scott Pressler? He did a lot to flip different
I have
swing
something to say
states
about
from
that.
blue to red.
Yeah.
He is determined to spend
Yes.
time in California to, number one, implement voter ID. Implement voter ID. The last election was already closer than it has been in
And hence
several
the
election cycles.
redistricting.
True, it is an uphill battle, but I do believe that people
This is the
can
angle.
fight from
90 degrees.
I feel you. I'm just saying, when you see he's done it before, he could potentially, and when voices combine together,
Well, I
the difference
mean, let me
could be
be
made.
clear. I know
activism can definitely get
we
things
need
done.
to move to man keeping.
Yes.
obviously.
All right.
I
Let's
just want to say Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor of California not too long ago, so
Yeah.
he's Republican, to be clear.
Thank you so much for watching Her Take. If you like the show, can you help us out by subscribing to the channel, clicking the notification button, sharing, commenting, joining the conversation? It helps us out a ton with the algorithm. We appreciate you.